Well, hey, everybody. It is great to see you, even though I don't really see you. It's great to know that you're there. It's great to know that you're involved. And it's great to know that you are a part of this podcast. This is one of those days where I don't like to do what I have to do, but I love doing it anyway because it's something that has to be done. And quite frankly, I'm the only one that'll do it. No one else has the balls to do it. Or should we say the testicular fortitude? But anyway, I'm going to do it, even though it doesn't pay to do it, and I probably shouldn't do it. But no, I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to try to get this running on Twitter at the same time. Let's see how we're doing there. We are doing terribly. Screw it. We're not even going to play with that again. Just forget it because the Periscope app is horrible. Not even going to lie. It's just horrible. So goodbye. Stop broadcast. All right. So let's go ahead and rock and roll on YouTube, which works very well most of the time, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very well most of the time, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking today about the book of Enoch, ladies and gentlemen. And we are talking today about the fact that the book of Enoch is covering up some of the most horrible atrocities that have ever been perpetuated on the world. And even worse, they are atrocities being perpetrated in the name of religion. The book of Enoch is covering up some of the most horrible atrocities ever perpetrated, and they're being perpetrated in the name of religion. And shame on the people that want to promote the book of Enoch and talk about the book of Enoch and sensationalize the book of Enoch when it's a forgery, number one. And number two, that which we have today is being used to cover up the most heinous crimes. The most heinous crimes, and either A, they're ignorant, but B, after this show, they'll have to be stupid because they are supporting not only error, they're supporting atrocity if they continue to preach, teach, and promote the book of Enoch. So that pretty much draws the line in the proverbial sand. Let's get right into it. Let's get right into the book of Enoch. We're going to talk first of all about the book of Enoch being a forgery. And we're going to talk about the person that discovered the book of Enoch. And then we're going to talk about what the book of Enoch is covering up. And we're going to talk right about the book of Enoch itself, ladies and gentlemen, and from the book of Enoch itself. And this will be all very self-explanatory. First of all, let's talk about the guy that, quote unquote, discovered the book of Enoch. You have to understand that the book of Enoch was lost for thousands and thousands of years. No one knew where it was. Everyone was searching for it. It was, and I'm trying to calm down and not get real excited and not get really pissed, because this is something that gets me. This is something I like Rocky Stucci. I'm a man of peace. But boy, this is almost something I'd fight about. I'm that passionate about it, and I'm that wound up about it. So let's talk about the book of Enoch. It was lost. It was like the Holy Grail. No one could find it. Joe King says, thank you very much. Street King says, you're the world's okayest teacher. That's good enough for Joe. Love Joe King coming over from Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, it was lost. And all of a sudden, miraculously, and let's talk about this dude who miraculously found multiple copies of the book of Enoch. So his name was James Bruce of Kennard. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that limey name. Little joke. He was a Scottish traveler and travel writer. He was Mr. Peterman of the Seinfeld show. He was Mr. Peterman of the Seinfeld show. He wrote these crazy travel novels and things. He was a sensationalist. He was an adventurer. He was like a prototype of an Indiana Jones kind of thing. He was a Scottish traveler, travel writer, spent more than a dozen years in North Africa and Ethiopia, where he traced the origins of the Nile River. And he knew from his dozen years in North Africa and Ethiopia, he was fluent, thank you, Molly, in writing and speaking the Ethiopic language. Your antennae should be going up. The hair on the back of your neck should be standing up. James Bruce of Kinnaird, travel writer, dozen years in Ethiopia, spoke the language, wrote the language, was an adventurer, was an Indiana Jones type of a dude. And this is a picture of the gentleman, just so we'll know exactly who we're talking about. And so this book of Enoch is lost. No one's ever found it. It's the Holy Grail. And this dandy, I mean, I shouldn't make fun of his constitution, because he did go down into freaking Ethiopia and the Nile back in the 1700s. So he's probably a pretty tough dude. But no one knows where the book is. It's lost in antiquity. Indiana Jones Jr. here goes down to Ethiopia, spends a lot of time down there. This is the dude, James Bruce. So this is the guy that did the deed. He's a travel writer. And, ladies and gentlemen, what happens? Well, let's first of all give you a little background, because you knew the Jesuits were going to raise their ugly head into this. Because the first person that said they discovered the source of the Nile was a Jesuit missionary, Pedro Paez. Supposedly, he's the one that discovered, or that history records as being the guy that discovered the source of the Nile. Of course, as we read here, coming from Wikipedia, and it's not that Wikipedia is a good source. It's not that Wikipedia is a bad source. It's just a source of information. The Spaniard, a Jesuit missionary, was widely regarded by historians as having been the first European to reach the site of the start of the Blue Nile. He was the first European to see and describe the Blue Nile in his 2-volume history. Bruce, however, Indiana Jones Jr., disputed this claim and suggested that the relevant passages in Paez's memoirs were fabricated. Do you see what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? He says the Jesuit was lying. The Jesuits are saying, so you've got a Jesuit source that originally discovered this, and here is Bruce arguing with the Jesuits, trying to disclaim them, saying that what they said wasn't real, what they said wasn't true, what they said wasn't right, what they said didn't happen. And he said, no, I'm the one that discovered the source of the Nile, not the Jesuits. So the Jesuits are involved in a fashion as well. But here's what I really want to get to, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the part that's fascinating to me. This is the part that's fascinating to me. In a day and age where, and I see that I'm lagging, the screen has gone blank again. Man, I'm being attacked. I don't know if my internet is shitty. I don't think it is, because everything works great until we get online. And it doesn't look like it looks like the stream health is not great, but I don't know if we're actually still broadcasting. Somebody tell me if you're actually still seeing this. Is it still up and running in real time? Because I'm getting nothing but a wheel. Don says everything's fine. Michelle says everything's fine. Okay, good. So here's the thing where it gets really, really smelly, ladies and gentlemen. It gets really, really smelly. At the time where the book of Enoch was gone, where it was the Holy Grail, and I'm really trying to calm down, ladies and gentlemen, and I excuse this noise, where I'm really trying to calm down. He brought back to Europe a bunch of Ethiopian manuscripts. They opened up new vistas for study of Ethiopic languages and placed this branch of Oriental scholarship on a much more secure basis. He knew the language. He studied the language. He was an expert in the language. He expanded the study and understanding of this language. He brought back, ladies and gentlemen, are you seeing what I'm seeing? A fine and specially prepared copy of the book of Enoch to Louis the 15th in Paris. So let me get this right. The book of Enoch's lost. Nobody's got it. But all of a sudden, Bruce finds multiple copies of it. He gave one to the book of Enoch, or one to Louis the 15th. He gave one to the King of England. And you have to think that he kept one for himself. And I believe there's another one involved. He gave one to a museum. So there's none of these books anywhere. And all of a sudden, there's 4 or 5 of them by a guy that knew how to write the language. Wow. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not buying it. There's none of these books, and all of a sudden, he comes up with 4 of them. Gives them to kings, and you know what happens when you give kings presents, right? They give you money and lots of it. They give you all kinds of great privileges, and you become a rock star. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't think I'm right. Among the Ethiopian manuscripts were 3 copies, plus the one he kept, I'm suggesting, so 4. It had been lost since the Middle Ages. It had been lost for thousands of years. He gave one to King Louis, and he gave one to the French National Library. He's a Brit. Do you really think he didn't give one to the king or queen? Come on, man. By my count, that's 4 copies. And then he gave another one to the Oxford University. How many damn copies of this book that didn't exist did this guy come up with? Who could write the language himself, ladies and gentlemen? These manuscripts mark the beginning of the modern studies of the book of Enoch. Ladies and gentlemen, he did not find the book of Enoch. He did not discover the book of Enoch. And I'm not the only one that thinks that. They knew this back when he discovered them by this book that was written. It shows you exactly what people thought about it. An account of the very extraordinary travels of the celebrated Mr. Bruce. They're calling bullshit. He was gone for about 12 years, Terry. They're calling bullshit, and so am I. And so is anybody with a brain that really has a bit of discernment and really has a bit of scholarship and really has a bit of any objectivity and empirical mindedness about themselves. There's no book. It's gone. We can't find it. It's never been found. And all of a sudden, dude comes back with 4 or 5 of them. He went to Ethiopia. He was an adventure writer. He wrote it himself. He copied 4 of them, 5 of them, 6 of them during his time away. He brought them back and made big money. And now these people that are pushing the book of Enoch on you and claiming it as a revelation and claiming it for all of these doctrines and proof. They're selling you religious doctrine based on a comic book written by an Indiana Jones character. And if you can't see that, I can't help you. But it's worse than that. It's not just some crazy guy trying to make money off of a book and trying to capitalize and make money off of a book. It's not just that. It is that, but it's not just that. Because this book has not only been used to sensationalize, not only been used to make money and create clicks and views for people that sensationalize it and push it and talk about it like it's real, when they have access to the same information that I do. That's despicable. That's disgusting. That makes me throw up a little bit in my mouth, to be frank with you. Let me wash that down. That's low. That is just, I can't think of a better word than despicable, disgusting, cowardly, dishonest. And there's people, YouTube and the conferences are full of people pushing the book of Enoch, pushing doctrines built on the book of Enoch, making money, selling books, collecting speaking fees, building their channels, and it's wrong. It's dastardly. And all of the modern copies of the book of Enoch are forgeries. But that's not the worst part. Let's look at the book of Enoch itself, chapter 7, to show you exactly what the atrocity really is and what the book of Enoch is covering up, ladies and gentlemen. And this is coming from the book of Enoch itself. It's bad enough that people are out there tickling your ears and preaching what you want them to for gain, both monetarily and popularity-wise. That's disgusting, but that's not the biggest deal. Let's look at what the biggest deal is, because the book of Enoch is being used not only as a distraction, but it's being used to cover the greatest atrocities that are being committed right now and have been for at least 2,000 years within the realms of Roman Catholicism and Roman Protestantism. Now, some of you have heard this and have read this, but I'm going to show you what this really means. I'm going to show you what this really means, ladies and gentlemen. And this is chapter 7, book of Enoch. It happened after the sons of men had multiplied in those days, and that daughters were born to them, elegant and beautiful. And then the angels, the sons of heaven, beheld them, became enamored of them, saying to each other, "Come, let us select for ourselves wives from the progeny of men, and let us beget children." Now, folks, I've showed this to you. I've proven this to you, and I'll put it in the box below. It's not there yet because I took a little nap because I went and did something today that was amazing. I'll do a podcast about it later. But I've proven you that this whole idea of angels having sex with women is completely foreign to the Bible. It doesn't exist in the Bible. It is a heresy. It is a ludicrosity. It is utter stupidity. And I know a lot of you believe it, and I know a lot of you think it happened, but it didn't. This is the only place that you're going to find it, right here in the book of Enoch, which is a forgery written by an adventurer. It's J. Peterman who wrote this. And everybody that is using this to teach from and promote is lazy, stupid, cowardly, and disgusting. Do I make myself clear, ladies and gentlemen? What this is covering up is this, ladies and gentlemen. They're trying to make you think that angels came and had sex with human women and begat children to distract you from a true atrocity that's really coming and a true atrocity that's really happened. These guys that think themselves higher than the rest of us, these guys that think they are angels, they think they're sons of heaven, they think they own things, the people that run this fear and guilt control matrix, the money funders, the Third Templars, the captains of industry and finance, the people running the dark state, the dark left in the United States of America, them, Bilderbergers, Rothschilds, many other names, and the real names we don't even know. They become enamored of children. And they, from the very beginning, just like their God has from the very beginning, are having sex with children, ladies and gentlemen. This is code language to show that the rulers are having sex with children, whoever they choose to have sex with. They think they're above us. They think they're more than us. They're angels. They're sons of heaven. We're just men. And they can do whatever they want to the sons and the daughters of men. This is their tacit admission that they're having sex with kids, and they don't give a damn if you know it, because you won't have the guts to do anything about it, because you're being led astray by idiots saying that this is something that it isn't. Not only you're too busy cashing checks and making money, you preachers of this, and you're too busy being itchy-eared, scratched, and entertained by this to see what's really going on. Shame on you, both parties. And it goes on to show that I'm even more right. And their leaders said to them, and Pamela Jean says they do more than just have sex with kids. That's right. They sacrifice them. I've shown you they did this from the very beginning. Their leaders said to them, the leaders of this cabal, I fear that you may be perhaps indisposed to be in the performance of this enterprise, let alone I should suffer a grievous crime. But they answered him and said, we all swear we'll bind ourselves by mutual execrations, that we will not change our intention, but execute our projected undertaking. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the playbook of the elite. Once you come into the elite, just in case Bill Clinton, Bush's, just in case you decide that you're going to start talking about what we're doing here, Epstein's, and that one of us should go down because you decided to grow a conscience, you have to swear. You have to do these same things. So we know you won't change your mind because we got you on camera, cousins. We got you on camera, cousins. They all swore together. They bound themselves by mutual execrations on the top of Mount Ammon, and they bound themselves. This is a description, ladies and gentlemen, of how the elite bind themselves together. They make a pact that none of them can be busted out because they are having sex with children together. They're eating children together. They have no fear of exposure because they're all exposed equally and together. This is what the teachers and the preachers of the book of Enoch and the listeners and the people that are wonderfully running over to their channels and buying their books and watching them at seminars are allowing themselves to be distracted from and are giving their tacit support and approval to. This is as big as it gets, ladies and gentlemen. If you preach or teach the book of Enoch, you are preaching and teaching ludicrosities and supporting the rape and the consumption, the sacrificial ritual consumption of children. Live with that on your conscience, ladies and gentlemen, that are doing those dastardly deeds. But hold on, there's more. You know, you can see why I said I don't like doing this, but I love doing this. I don't like having to do it, but I love doing it because I'm the only one that will. And then they took wives, choosing for themselves. They took children, is what it's really saying. Whomever they want. They pick any kids they want. Your kids, my kids, nobody's beyond their reach. They approach them, Epstein style. They cohabitate with them, using sorcery, using incantations, drugging them. And what happens out of this sorcery? What happens out of this spirit cooking? What happens out of this human sacrifice, this cannibalism? What happens out of these atrocities that you teachers of the book of Enoch and you listeners to teachers of the book of Enoch are turning a blind eye to and supporting? And don't think that this blood isn't upon your hands. Don't think that you won't pay. You will pay if you teach. You will pay if you listen. And what happens? This system brings forth giants, giants of industry, giants of entertainment, giants of government, giants of all sorts of money. It brings the leaders of the fear and guilt control matrix. They tower above their mere humans, and they tax and devour our labor, ladies and gentlemen. They tax and devour our labor, ladies and gentlemen, until we can't even feed ourselves. And then what do? They turn men against men. They have us fighting with each other instead of these pieces of shit that are preaching this and these pieces of shit that are supporting this. And then we begin to injure even the animal kingdom and the earth itself. But TikTok, mother, you know what? The earth is reproving the unrighteous. TikTok, you cowardly Book of Enoch teaching piece of shit. TikTok, you cowardly Book of Enoch listening to, sensationalizing, getting your ears tickled piece of shit. TikTok. We know who you are. And we're coming after you. You will not stand. Your atrocities will not stand. We will not stand for it any longer, and we will begin to call you out by name and identify you by name and watch you fall, you scumbags. And watch you fall, you scumbags. And let me show you what we're talking about. They're so arrogant. They think they're so smart. This is what they're doing in France, which, interestingly enough, is who the Book of Enoch was given to, King Louis, the first one. Look at what they're doing at McDonald's in France. These are cups that you buy at McDonald's in France. Now, these pictures are on opposite sides of the cup. So if the cup's full of Coke, you can't see anything but a boy standing here. And if you turn the cup around, the girl would be standing on the other side. This boy would be sitting down on one side of the cup, and this boy would be on the other side of the cup. But when the cup is empty and you tilt it and look like this, here's the little girl giving the little boy head. Here's these little boys touching this little boy's penis and winking. Yeah, I'm rubbing his penis. And look at him. Oh, she's really good. Ladies and gentlemen, this doesn't happen by accident. This is not incidental. Oh, I didn't hit the screen share. Sorry. Thank you. This isn't by accident. This isn't incidental. This is intention. This is on purpose. McDonald's cups. When the cup's full, you see a boy on one side, you see a girl on the other side. You see this boy on one side, you see this boy on the other side. When the cup's empty like they are now, and you tilt the cup, this is what you see. Little girl giving head to little boy. Little boys touching each other's penises. They're laughing at us. This is the level it gets to when they're proclaiming it at McDonald's. I remember the day after Jim Baker and his buddy, who I can't remember the guy's name, had spent the afternoon raping Jessica Hahn. And they were right down the street from my house at this place called, it was Channel 22, WCLF, I think. I was in the audience. And they were talking, winking and smirking. It's what they're doing to us. And it's the same thing these pieces of shit that teach the Book of Enoch are doing, winking at us. And it's the same thing you dummies that are listening to it are doing. You're supporting it. I was in the studio audience, and Jim Baker looks at, I think it was John, I can't remember his name. He was kind of a minor evangelist. But they said, well, we had some real good body ministry today, didn't we? Oh, yeah. We had some great body ministry today. It was wonderful to be in service. They're making fun of raping Jessica Hahn for hours that afternoon before they go and stand up and preach at this Christian TV station. And there was a church there too. And they're doing the same thing to us. They think we're stupid. They think we're idiots. They're laughing at us. Jeff, don't you think that you're going a little bit, have it your way? Yeah. And what's the new one? I'm loving it. Don't you think you're being a little bit too hard, Jeff? Because there's some preachers that preach the Book of Enoch that I like. I think they're nice. Well, they can study just like I can study. They can see just like I can see. And any preacher, any teacher that's still teaching the Book of Enoch is willfully ignorant and is promoting atrocities against children. It's just that simple. And if you continue to watch and consume that content and support its continuation, then you are supporting atrocities against children. Is it so important to you to get your ears tickled that you're willing to put the children through the things they go through? I would not want to be you, ladies and gentlemen. I would not want to be you, or intentionally deceptive, as Tracy Dyer adds. I wouldn't want to be you. This is important. Who else is going to say this? Nobody. Enoch wasn't in the Talmud, Molly. This is one of those lost books that we make big money in seminars, and we put big shows on YouTube, and we write books, and we make movies about it, and we make all kinds of money off of it. Daughters of sons of God, angels having sex with women and producing giants. It's a metaphor for them raping and eating your children. Let's go to the chat room. I don't know who else is on talking about the book of Enoch right now. That's their business. But what I've said applies. I don't care who it is. All right. They're freaky perverts. We told you, and you bought the book anyway. Joe has had enough of it. I'm with you, Joe. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap. It's a dirty business. I'm going to try to, this thing is going wild. I don't know how I'm going to answer your questions, but let's try. Let's try. Thank you for bringing this out. I don't like to do it, but I love to do it. It's got to be done. No one else will do it. Here I am. I am the chosen one. Sorry, couldn't resist. I am the one to bring it out. Let's see. We told you, and you bought the book. Exactly right. I'm disgusted. You should be. Thankfully. How do they sleep at night? I don't know. Malicious vipers. I agree. Oh, man. Boom time. Deceptive to get you to buy into their deeds. That's exactly what they want, Tracy. It's deceptive to get you to buy into the deeds. This Enoch info needs to be seen for what it really is, a fraud. Thank you, Serial Dog. And they expect us not to get angry. It's just like Pizzagate. It's the same thing. They don't want to let go of the mystery of it all. And any person going to listen and pay for the privilege or handling them, the children on a plate. Jennifer Roberts, that put chills literally down my spine. You are so right, ma'am. You are so right. Leopards don't change their spots. Yeah, Jim Baker's on TV again. Yeah, exactly. How stupid are people? Jeff is angry, and it's for good reason. Thank you. 40 cases of sexual abuse in the church came out today, says KT Emma. Wow, Jeff, you're on a roll. Cynthia feels sick. Let's see. Have it your way. Yeah. McDonald's should go out of business. Yes, they should. Sexualizing our babies. Exactly. Lady Gray Raven says, WTF. I'm with you, girl. Tracy Cooper, WTF. Tiddly, WTF. Jim, no way. Yes way. Regina, whoa. Disgusting perverts. Nixon 223. Boycott McDee's. Yeah, it's real, Joe. Sick creatures. That's what they are. Absolutely. Let's see. I did see at one point, this really helped me see the error of the book of Enoch. Absolutely. Genesis 6. Book of Enoch error. Repeat that. I don't know what you meant by repeat that, but I'm way too far past repeating. I probably repeated it too much. Leave the children alone. Stand for the truth. Way to go, Jeffrey. Thank you for your work. Thank you so much. The earth is removing the scumbags. Keep exposing them. People have to wake up. Thank you, Guy Deb 2005. Artie Thomas, you believe this stuff? I don't know, Artie, do you? TikTok. MFers. And I don't mean money funders. I mean mother, and the last word rhymes with trucker. TikTok. It's time to start naming names. Jeff just schooled me. Well, I'm glad. I am in the flow. Thank you very much. Jeff's giving a powerful teaching here. Thank you, Mod Wiz. Macabre Menace, thank you. Athletes, money, money, money. St. James Island, we're talking Epstein again, I think. A dark side is a short green dude behind a curtain. Brutality on children, absolutely. Joe digs at passion. Thanks, Joe. I think Joe came over from Twitter. I'm pretty sure I saw Joe on Twitter. It's entirely possible that they were gifts from the Ethiopian people. Wrath, why here? They were lost for thousands of years, and he comes up with 3, 4, 5 copies. Come on, bro. I'm sorry. And he's a writer and adventurer. I'm sorry, Wrathful 2000, but you want to believe it. And you do say that's likely forged. Probably. Bro, come on. Come on. He forged that. He forged all of them. He forged all of them. Did I box? It's funny, Alexandros. I boxed in the Air Force. I wasn't in the Army. Jeff, you said the P word yesterday. I did, Sierra. I'm getting bad. Too much Rocky Stucci in my life, I guess. Jeff does have Sterling's name down now. It only took me how many years to do it. Winners kicking ass and taking names. I've sinned against you and a bunch of other women and children. That was actually Jimmy Swaggart, not Jim Baker. Let's see. I did listen to a YouTube on Enoch. It seemed more about dirty spirits trying to get to the best. I don't know what that is. I appreciate your honesty. Thank you. Is there any other questions in here? I appreciate your enthusiasm. If they were angels, no. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So let's just go ahead and recap this. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your questions. It's the Stucci effect. Stucci and Sam Tripoli as well. He has some of the blame. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the bottom line. The real book of Enoch has been lost since the days of antiquity. It's been lost. There was a great search for it and a great desire for stuff, a lot of sacred artifacts, pieces of the cross, this fragment, this parchment. Many of them were proven to be, it was a feeding frenzy of this stuff in that day and age. So here's this guy, ladies and gentlemen, who's an adventure writer, who knows the language, who says everybody wants this book. No one's found it for thousands of years. He says the Jesuits say they found it. No, they didn't find it. I found it. The Nile itself. So the Jesuits are involved. Kings are involved. King Louis, the king or queen of England, whichever it was at that time. You just don't walk into the court of King Louis XV. You just don't walk into the court of the British monarch. Dude, this goes to the top. This is connected. And he comes back with 4 or 5 copies of it. Tick tock, the clock is ticking, and we're coming after you. That's what I'm saying. And he forged the copies. And this book that people today are, everything that you hear being taught from the book of Enoch today is being taught from a forgery. If you're teaching from the book of Enoch, you're teaching from forgery. If you're teaching from the book of Enoch, you're teaching from a forgery. And you can't deny it, so stop it. But worse than that, if you're listening to people teach from the book of Enoch, going to their channel, buying their books, going to their seminars, paying for their webinars, you're supporting bad teaching based on a forgery. You have itching ears. You're heaping together yourself teachers that'll teach you what you want to hear. And you teachers are heaping together listeners that want to hear what you're saying, and you're saying what they want to hear so you can make money and be somebody, period. But it's worse than that. This book of Enoch was written to distract people from and to provide literary cover for ritual child rape and ritual child sacrifice and ritual child, what's the right word? Cannibalism. And if you're still teaching the book of Enoch, you're supporting ritual child sacrifice, ritual child rape. And if you're watching people teach about the book of Enoch, you're supporting ritual child rape, ritual child sacrifice. Do you think that you can do that without paying an energetic price? It's a question. Do you think you can do that without paying an energetic price? Tracy Dyer says, you're condoning and complicit. Jennifer says, hell hath no fury like a mother's heart. These kids are ours. And why do you think it said, Jennifer, that the earth mother is revolting? You're going down. Be a man, be a woman, stop it. Be a man, be a woman, stop supporting it. Or you're going down. And great will be your fall. And I probably shouldn't say it, but I will. You're going down in flames, and I won't even piss on you to put it out. I will watch you burn. Maybe roast a marshmallow. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. We're the last generation of real humans. Rathel, watch some of my other videos about the Nephilim. The Nephilim were giants, but they had nothing to do with angels having sex with women. See, they confuse us. They confuse us. They confuse us. We're the last generation of real humans. We are not going down quietly. Winners write history. We're going to win, and we're going to write the history of how we won, and let it serve as inspiration for those that follow us. I'm on record. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, reminding you we're the last generation of real humans. It's past time for us to get busy. Get busy winning. Who's with me?